Okay, welcome to this conversation that I'm having with Dad Allen, my father-in-law, Mimi's dad. Dad has been here for almost a month,
Right.
and he was spent some time down in southern Spain when he got here on the 11th or the 12th of August. I'm not sure which day. And he went down to the south, saw some of the ministry from years ago, the church that they planted and church plants that have gone out of that, and he might say something of that now. But then he came up to spend the last several weeks with us up here, and he was wanting to be with us in our workers retreat, our Christian workers retreat. We had our 11th the last few days of August. And so, Dad, you were here for the retreat, our 11th, but you were also here last year for our 10th,
Yes.
right? And the experiences were a little bit different this year than last, right?
They were different for sure.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and many of you know Dad, maybe 50 or 60 years, some of you, because he's 91, so that gives quite an option for possibilities in that area. But anyway, he has always been full of music and been a blessing through his music, and still has. And if I remember later, I'm going to add a little bit of some of the things you've done just in the last few days into this video. I'll figure out where to do it at some point. But anyway, he'll give you an update on this last year and just some unusual things that God has brought to his life. So go ahead, Dad, all yours, and I'll try not to interrupt very often.
Okay, well, Andy, the biggest difference between this year and last year is last year when I was at the workers' retreat, you'll recall I was playing the accordion in all of the services, all of the choruses and hymns that we were singing. I played the accordion. But I've had some difficulty with my hearing. Let me just go back a little way and mention that about a year and a half ago, I actually lost the hearing in my right ear due to a viral infection. That didn't bother me a great deal because I heard well through my left ear, and I got different hearing aids. I had just the cross system where that my right hearing aid was just a transmitter. It picked up the sound from the right side and sent it over to the other. So I did fine. But and in fact, last year was a very active year. I was still director of Faith Christian Missions. I made a trip to Mexico for the mission and had a little situation there that needed some attention. I was able to visit with Pastor Sergio Villasana, pastor of the Hispanic Church in South Carolina, where I am serving, along with Dennis and Tudy Flower, that we worked with in Spain for 42 years. But anyway, I had an active year, several trips, 3 at least, to Alabama for the mission, trips to Florida, particularly to be with my brother Geddes. And in December of last year, my brother had a choir concert in Pensacola, and he had asked me to help him with that, with the accordion. One number that the choir sang needed a flute part, and of course the accordion has different stops on it, one which resembles the flute, so I played that part on the accordion. And then we had a sing-along of Christmas songs, particularly, hymns and secular songs with the congregation there. Just a great time, first week in December. On the 19th of December, some friends of mine, elderly couple that they can hardly get out of the house for anything, and they'd heard that I had been involved in the concert down in Florida, and they called me and said, "We would love to hear the accordion, and would you bring it over and just give us a little concert of Christmas songs, hymns and secular songs?" And so on the 19th of December, a Thursday afternoon, I went over and for about 45 minutes played for this couple Christmas songs, and we had a great time. The next morning, Friday morning, I got up and I couldn't hear my own voice. I was deaf, and it had happened just suddenly.
What did you think had happened?
Uh,
What did you think had happened?
Well, I just had no idea.
Yeah.
But it actually, I found out that it was a viral infection which had affected the nerve. Fortunately, that very same morning, I was able to see a specialist, and they started medications, antibiotics, so forth. And they managed, I guess, to preserve 20% of my hearing in my left ear and nothing in my right ear. So I was essentially deaf then.
Wow.
Even with hearing aids, I could, with the one hearing aid, I could hardly understand anything. I recall our pastor had to have made a trip to Mexico, so I preached the New Year's message. And I told the congregation, I said, now, you are aware of the fact that I'm essentially deaf, but I'm warning you I have very good eyesight, and I don't want to see any of you asleep during my message. And so I have stayed active, but anyway,
So, excuse me, even though you preached, you couldn't hear yourself preaching.
practically very
Almost nothing.
little, practically nothing. I couldn't hear myself. So the doctors determined that the only solution really would be a cochlear implant, and of course there was a waiting period that's very involved, insurance matters and so forth.
Yeah.
So on April the 19th, I was able to have surgery for the implant. It's an implant underneath the skin that's permanent, and then
In your head, in your ear.
yes, and
Man.
back of the ear, and then the sensors that go right into the cochlea of the ear.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So about a month and a half later, then they were able to activate it with the other system I have on the outside. Then
And how does that stay there?
there is a magnet in the implant and a magnet, of course, in the other. So when I put the sensor up, it just clicks onto that magnet and stays.
Oh my goodness. So other metals would too then. Other metallic things would too.
Oh yes. And
Okay.
so, but anyway, the cochlear implant does not restore the natural hearing. It isn't natural, but it does restore hearing to the point that I can understand and carry on and stay active. And I have determined by the Lord's grace to not concentrate on, not worry about the things that I can't do, but concentrate on the things that I can do.
Which is something we should all do.
I stopped tuning pianos at age 90 when I lost the hearing in my right ear,
Yeah.
but continued all the other activities. I was able to help in the music and the church and teaching and
Until this happened.
until this happened,
Yeah.
which was in December of this past year.
Yeah.
8 months ago, 9 months ago when it happened. So I got the implant, and I have determined that to stay active. I was thinking that Margaret and I, when we first went to the mission field way back in 1960, we claimed 1 Thessalonians 5:24, faithful is he that calleth you, who also will do it. And I've thought a lot about that chapter, but since the hearing problems, since I lost my hearing, I started concentrating more on the earlier verses, like verse 16 says, rejoice evermore. Verse 17, pray without ceasing. And I certainly, since this has happened, I've spent more time reading and praying. There are things I can't do, but certainly a lot of that I can. But then the verse that hits a little closer to home is verse 18. In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you. So thanking the Lord even for the what I would call tragedies or disappointments that happen, but I have so much to be thankful for. How can I complain about that? Because I can still preach, I can still teach, I can counsel, I can disciple, I can travel, I can pray, of course, and so I want to stay active, serving the Lord, concentrating on what I can do, and not be too concerned about the things that I can't do.
Okay, so one of the things that has been to me fascinating is this whole thing about music, because before he came, I had questions. As soon as he got here, I hit him with several questions about the music aspect. Like, well, what does it sound, what do you hear? I mean, if you don't hear our voice like it is, what does it sound like? And so explain what my voice sounds like right now.
Unfortunately, music is noise now.
Metallic, kind of
It's metallic.
indistinguishable.
The instruments, particularly like the piano, which I love piano music, but when someone starts playing piano, it's like banging on metal.
Wow.
I cannot distinguish the tone, the tonality there. I can't, for example, hear a scale anymore.
Yeah.
I used to. I never claimed to have perfect pitch, but I had good relative pitch, and I could see the keyboard and know the sound of those.
I would remember at times that we might be talking and somebody would honk a horn out there, and he would tell us what key it was in or what note it was. So now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to interject maybe right here, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see later. I'm going to put in a few clips of times in the last week that he's gone to the piano, either here at the farmhouse or at church, and he's just sat down and played the piano. And if you didn't know what he was saying, you would have no idea that he can't hear what he's playing. Music is so much in him, and his fingers have played so many hundreds of thousands of notes in hymns that it flows out of him. I don't know if you can hear it in your brain of your own making. I know you can't hear it from the piano. That I don't understand.
Well, it's through the brain thinking and knowing what it's supposed to sound like
Yeah.
that I play the notes,
It's amazing.
but I cannot hear it, the tune.
Yeah.
When someone goes to the piano and starts playing a hymn that I know very, very well, I can't recognize it unless from the rhythm I happen to think, well, that sounds like it could be a particular hymn, you know.
We were listening to choir music on the TV the other day, and he said something like he couldn't tell it was music. It just sounded like they were reciting the words. So, that's...
The doctor has told me that perhaps, no guarantee, that I will recover a little bit of the music as time goes
Tonality,
by. And I do believe that now, particularly vocal, I'm beginning to hear a little bit of the melody of a hymn. So far, everybody I've heard sing has been out of tune. But I am beginning to hear a little bit of melody. And so perhaps a time I have started with the guitar to play scales and see if playing the scales, the up and down, if that will help me begin to recognize the tunes.
I'm convinced personally, and I have no real backing or I mean, I can't officially say anything. All I can say is my opinion, is that he's going to be able to recover a fair bit of his music if he works at it, at being able to hear the tones. And I've mentioned it several times in the last few weeks. I can't get out of my mind a Moody science film that I saw years ago, and maybe some of you have seen it, where they give this guy upside down glasses, and so he has to wear these glasses. I don't remember. I should have watched it again or pulled it up. But anyway, he has to wear these glasses that make him see everything upside down. Of course, at first, what can he do? He can't even move. Everything's upside down. But then over a period of time, his brain connects with those upside down glasses in such a way they process the image, and he starts seeing right. And then he has the opposite problem when they take them off, because he had to wear them 24/7, or at least when he was awake. And when he took them off, he couldn't see anymore. His eyes had to readjust upside down to where he could see again. So you go figure what the brain isn't capable of doing. And so I have that hope that he'll be able to just get more and more of his hearing back. But just, be amazed with me at how he plays the piano, how beautifully he plays the piano, not being able to hear a thing.
What I've been doing so far, at the doctor's recommendation, of course, is reading audio books, listening to put on the CD. For example, I have the Bible on CD, so I'll put the CD on and listen only through the implant system, and follow the reading follow the text with my eyes. I eventually will try to start that with simple music, and following the score and listening to the sound and see if I can begin to pick up melody there.
So in case it slipped by, first he has to learn to turn noise into words. And he's doing that. He's making good progress with that. But then he has to turn sound into tonality. So, I mean, those are huge steps, which you and we never even think about it. We don't even think to say, thank you, Lord, I can hear music, or thank you, Lord, I can hear voices, because it's something so automatic. But the latest in human technology, in terms of these hearing devices, that's what he has to face, and that's the best that man can come up with at this point.
I'm optimistic about it. I believe that I feel like I've had the cochlear implant actually 3 months activated now. The doctor said it would take 3 to 6 months for the sound to begin to to be clear, you know.
Yeah.
And they said sometimes up to a year. But I think I've seen a little bit of progress, and I'm optimistic about the future. I will keep working at the audiobooks, and like I said, for the time being, I'm playing scales on the guitar to try to listen. Scales on the piano is just pathetic to
I wonder
hear.
why.
It's like just beating metal again, you know.
So the guitar is better than the piano.
The guitar has been better than piano
Huh.
so far.
Yeah, one thing he was saying, for those of you who know a little bit more of music, he would try to hear from, let me think in English, C, D, E, F. He tries to hear these tonalities going up the scale, but it never goes all the way up. He can hear some differences, but a C and the next C, it never goes that high. He only goes up about 6 notes in his mind, where you and I are hearing an octave, he's hearing a sixth, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to. I don't know how to use.
I had my co-worker, Dennis Flower, who is a musician. I said, Dennis, I know you'll be honest with me. Let me sing something and from the way I hear it in my mind and see if I'm on pitch. And so I started singing. I believe what I sang was, "There is a fountain filled with blood." And I started singing it. And Dennis was telling me, no, you're
off.
way off. You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah.
singing on pitch. So
The other day we were at the table, and he looked up and he said, out of the blue, I don't know, it wasn't a part of a conversation necessarily, but he looked up and said something. He said, "Well, it's like there's new meaning to he that hath ears to hear, let him hear." Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, you jotted some things down. Is there anything else that you might
No, I
remember?
that
You think
pretty
that
much
covers it?
what,
Okay. I guess we might as well, make it a point here to ask prayers for him, that he'll be able to recover. He'll be able to hear more clearly, because we have to talk fairly loud. It's much better if we're looking at him, because I think automatically he's doing some lip reading. And when he's in a crowd, well, this happens to me, and I don't even have his problem. If there are a bunch of voices going on, I can be right in front of somebody talking to me, and sometimes I can't distinguish their voice. For him, it's a lot worse, right?
Right. Right now, of course, I'm working with a Hispanic church in Easley, South Carolina, and I'm not singing in the choir anymore. Dennis Flower directs the choir. But we have a little group of musicians that play along with the piano, violins, clarinet, then Dennis plays the trombone. And so I've been teaching a teenager the guitar, but he still can't hear the chords.
But you know him.
I'm playing along with all the hymns, because if I know the hymn, I know what the chords are.
Sure.
And so he follows my chords, although I can't hear. I have to use an app on my phone
to tune the guitar.
Tune my guitar,
Sure.
because I can't hear if it's in tune or not.
Okay.
But
So praying that he'll be able to get better and better at understanding speech, human speech, and then I guess that's the only kind of speech there is anyway, humans, and then that he will also be able to, get better at hearing tones and music, essentially. So if you want to jot him a note, I would say email. What is it? It's Flay Allen 10, right? Your email?
flayallen10@gmail.com.
Okay, Flay Allen 10 at Gmail, and then his WhatsApp number. If you have WhatsApp, what is your phone number? I'll put it in the description. If you use WhatsApp, he'll answer that too. So today is, what is today? It's the 9th. It's Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday. Yeah, he leaves on Thursday.
9/11.
He leaves on 9/11.
Yes.
Correct. From Bilbao, and he'll be flying back to Greenville. So we've had we've enjoyed his stay so very much and have been able to do a lot of things. He's on Sunday, I'll put in some of the video, a part of it. On Sunday, he did the offertory with the piano. Go figure. The only one in the building who couldn't hear the offertory was he himself. But he did a beautiful job, as you'll hear. The video isn't very good quality, but the sound is okay. So I guess we'll leave it at that, right? Do you want to, that would be, the two prayer requests would be able to hear and distinguish, voice recognition and then music as the Lord allows.
Right.
Okay, well, good. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Dad.
Certainly.
And God bless you. Goodbye.